You've been following the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing?
Bro, Blake Lively, talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they f***ed up. Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit, and they're like, you were a key part of this.
An update on the Justin Baldoni dust up with Blake Lively. You know that Justin and his team promised to start releasing all of his correspondence with her. They're saying,
Joe Rogan doesn't hold back, does he? Once again, the outspoken podcaster stirred up controversy, this time turning his attention to Blake Lively. If you thought the legal drama between Lively and her, it ends with us, co-star Justin Baldoni couldn't get messier. Rogan has now added fuel to the fire, ripping into Lively's actions and taking a firm stance in Baldoni's corner. The entire saga, already a whirlwind of accusations and counterclaims, has become an even hotter topic thanks to Rogan's blunt commentary on his podcast. So what's the deal? Did Blake Lively really mess up big time, as Rogan claims, or is this just another layer of Hollywood chaos?
This is what you get, though. This is what you get. You're trying to f***ing ruin a guy's livelihood by using the Me Too movement.
Because they were trying to take over the movie.
Yeah.
They were trying to take over the movie and the whole franchise. He owned the franchise.
Let's rewind for a moment to set the stage. The legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni began when Lively filed a lawsuit accusing Baldoni of inappropriate on-set behavior during the production of It Ends With Us, a movie adaptation of the Colleen Hoover bestseller. The actress claimed Baldoni violated her comfort and orchestrated a campaign to tarnish her reputation. Naturally, these allegations made headlines. But things took a dramatic turn when Baldoni fired back with a mammoth defamation countersuit worth hundreds of millions, accusing Lively of making baseless claims to take control of the project. And just when you thought the drama couldn't get any juicier, Rogan stepped in with his no-holds-barred take.
And he's suing the New York Times, and he's got a great case
He's going hard in the paint. But that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
It's like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
Yeah.
He did for the boys.
Exactly. You got to do it.
You need real motherfuckers to be like, nah, man, I ain't going out like this.
Yeah, especially a guy like that. It was like known as being like this really sweet, nice guy.
Yep.
On a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, the podcaster didn't mince words, declaring that Blake Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, messed up royally. According to Rogan, the couple's decision to sue Baldoni and their subsequent legal maneuvers have done more harm to their own reputation than to Baldoni's. He claimed their actions were manipulative and suggested that the lawsuit served as an attempt to exert control over the film and its narrative. They thought they were untouchable, Rogan said bluntly, referring to Lively and Reynolds' A-list status. He even went so far as to suggest that the couple underestimated Baldoni's ability to fight back, especially after he presented what Rogan called receipts to defend himself.
And it's like, all right,
dude,
enough.
He posted the receipts.
Oh,
he's like, oh, remember our tech exchange?
Bah, bah, how about she told him to come into the dressing room while she was breastfeeding? And then part of the complaint was that he came into the dressing room while I was breastfeeding. Like, you literally have a text exchange back and forth. They just never thought that anybody was going to come out with the receipts.
Because no one's ever done it, because everyone usually just bows down.
Because everyone's scared.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds, A-list, Blake Lively, A-list. Like, they're the queens.
Rogan's comments gained traction online with fans and critics alike dissecting his every word. And it's not hard to see why. During the podcast, Rogan highlighted the text messages and behind-the-scenes footage Baldoni released as part of his defense. These materials included alleged exchanges where Lively invited Baldoni into her trailer during private moments, contradicting her later claims that he had intruded without permission. Rogan, ever the provocateur, seized on this detail, asserting that the evidence poked holes in Lively's allegations and made her accusations seem opportunistic.
She also provided a cease and desist letter, asking them to cease, quote, all unlawful conduct, namely what they alleged is the, quote, harassing and retaliatory media and online campaign against Miss Lively.
This isn't the first time Rogan has waded into controversial waters, but his commentary on this particular case struck a nerve. His defense of Baldoni painted the actor-director as a victim of a calculated smear campaign orchestrated by Lively and her team. Rogan described Baldoni as a kind, genuine guy who was pushed to fight back after being unfairly targeted. He's not the kind of guy to start drama, Rogan insisted, but when someone tries to destroy your livelihood, you've got no choice but to stand up for yourself. Rogan's guest on the episode, Brendan Schaub, echoed his sentiments, comparing Baldoni's legal battle to Johnny Depp's highly publicized defamation case against Amber Heard. Schaub argued that Baldoni, like Depp, was fighting not just for his career, but for his dignity. Rogan agreed, noting that Baldoni's decision to release detailed evidence, including a timeline of events and private communications, showed that he was serious about clearing his name. But Rogan didn't stop at defending Baldoni. He also took aim at the broader Hollywood culture that, in his view, enables powerful figures to manipulate narratives for their own gain. Everyone's scared of them, Rogan said, referring to Lively and Reynolds. They've got that star power, that influence. But Baldoni, he's showing that he's not afraid to go toe-to-toe with them, and people are starting to pay attention.
They say Friedman may even be violating the New York rules of professional conduct for lawyers by doing all this. Quote, his conduct threatens to and will materially prejudice both the Lively case and the Wayfair case by tainting the jury pool because his statements are deliberately aimed at undermining the character, credibility, and reputation of numerous relevant parties.
The podcaster's remarks, while divisive, have undeniably amplified the conversation surrounding the legal battle. On one hand, Rogan's support for Baldoni has encouraged skeptics to re-examine the evidence presented in the case. On the other hand, his criticisms of Lively have sparked backlash from her fans, who argue that Rogan is oversimplifying a complex situation. Regardless of where you stand, it's clear that Rogan's commentary has added a new layer of intrigue to an already tangled web of claims and counterclaims. What's particularly interesting about Rogan's perspective is how he framed the lawsuit as a cautionary tale about power dynamics in Hollywood. He suggested that Baldoni's willingness to fight back could set a precedent for others in the industry who feel wronged by more influential counterparts.
And that also, they say, includes us responding in the public to the montage dancing video that we put out. Why? Because, quote, the Lively Party's counsel publicly described the contents of video footage relating to Ms. Lively's allegations as damning. Their statement continued, any woman who's been inappropriately touched in the workplace will recognize Ms. Lively's discomfort.
Still, not everyone is buying Rogan's take. Critics have accused him of oversimplifying the situation and siding with Baldoni without fully understanding the nuances of the case. Some have even questioned whether Rogan's commentary is helping or hurting Baldoni's cause, given the polarizing nature of his opinions. But Rogan, never one to shy away from controversy, seems unbothered by the backlash. In fact, his comments have only fueled more speculation about what really went down behind the scenes of It Ends With Us. As the legal battle rages on, Rogan's support for Baldoni raises some compelling questions. Is Baldoni truly the victim of a smear campaign, as Rogan believes? Or is there more to Lively's allegations than meets the eye? And how will Rogan's commentary affect public perception of the case, especially as new details continue to emerge? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are seeking to dismiss Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit against them.
Rogan's revelations have also shed light on the broader implications of the lawsuit, particularly for Lively's career. With so much attention now focused on her actions and motivations, some are wondering whether the actress might face long-term consequences, both professionally and personally. Rogan even hinted at this, suggesting that Lively's decision to pursue the lawsuit could backfire spectacularly. But what about Ryan Reynolds? Rogan didn't spare him from criticism either, accusing the actor of trying to distance himself from the lawsuit, even though he's allegedly a key player in the drama. With the trial set for 2026, this legal saga is far from reaching its conclusion. But one thing's certain, Joe Rogan has made sure that everyone is paying attention. Whether you agree with his take or not, his commentary has added a new layer of drama to an already explosive story. So, as the dust continues to settle, or perhaps stir even further, one can't help but wonder who will come out on top in this high-stakes Hollywood showdown. And more importantly, will the truth ever fully come to light?
We just broke a shocking story. There is a rift, and I think that is an understatement of a word, a rift.
The messy fallout from Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's legal drama isn't just confined to the courtrooms. As the headlines pile up and the tension grows thicker, there's been a noticeable shift in the dynamics surrounding Lively's inner circle. It's almost as if the storm she's weathering has started to push those closest to her farther and farther and farther away. Friends, family, and even her husband, Ryan Reynolds, appear to be keeping their distance. And let's be real, this kind of reaction is raising eyebrows everywhere. The question on everyone's minds is, why are people backing off? Is it the weight of the allegations, or is there something more behind the scenes that we're just not seeing?
Yeah. So remember that what Taylor had told Justin was that Blake herself, she said, was Khaleesi, who was the queen in Game of Thrones, and Ryan, her husband, and Taylor were her dragons. Her best friend, although I think best friend is now past tense.
Let's start with Ryan Reynolds, Blake's husband of over a decade and one half of Hollywood's most beloved power couples. On paper, he should be her rock, standing by her side as the allegations against her keep mounting. But rumors are swirling that even Ryan is trying to quietly extricate himself from the chaos. Sources close to the couple have hinted that Reynolds is less than thrilled about being dragged into the legal whirlwind. In fact, Rogan himself pointed out on his podcast that Reynolds has allegedly been trying to distance himself from the lawsuit altogether. Rogan mocked the actor for what he described as an attempt to get out, suggesting that Reynolds might be looking for an escape route as the situation spirals further out of control.
Good morning, George. This is a big mess for everyone involved. The legal drama playing out in multiple courts now, literally from coast to coast, and all kinds of people close to these stars, from personal trainers to friends like Taylor Swift, finding their names mentioned as part of this ongoing fight.
Ryan's apparent reluctance to be deeply involved is giving people pause. After all, his name is tied to Baldoni's countersuit, which accuses both him and Lively of defamation and more. Baldoni's legal team has alleged that Reynolds played a role in mocking Baldoni's reputation, pointing to the Deadpool franchise as evidence. Baldoni claimed that Reynolds had based a parody character on him as a way to poke fun at his public image. While Reynolds' representatives have dismissed the claims as exaggerated, his decision to file a motion to dismiss himself from the case has only fueled speculation. People are wondering, is Ryan genuinely uninvolved, or is he trying to save face and protect his own brand from the fallout of this highly publicized feud?
I think that that's going to be, probably a game time decision. Anyone that reasonably has information that can be, that can provide evidence in this case is going to be deposed.
It's not just Ryan who appears to be keeping a low profile. Lively's once tight-knit circle of friends is also showing signs of strain. One of the most talked about developments involves her long-standing friendship with Taylor Swift. The two have been considered close friends for years, often spotted spending time together and even collaborating on creative projects. But lately, their bond seems to have hit a rough patch. Reports emerged that Swift was upset after being dragged into the legal saga, with her name popping up in leaked text messages that allegedly paint her as one of Lively's dragons. Sources claimed that Swift was blindsided by the way her name was used, and she's reportedly been keeping her distance ever since. Swift's team has denied any involvement in the legal drama, but the damage to their friendship might already be done. Taylor's absence from Blake's side during such a turbulent time is glaring. Fans have pointed out that Swift's usual displays of public support, like Instagram posts or casual mentions, have been noticeably missing. This silence has left many wondering if the pop superstar is choosing to stay out of the fray to protect her own reputation. After all, Swift herself is no stranger to public feuds, and the last thing she needs is to get entangled in this complicated mess. Whether their friendship can recover from this remains to be seen, but for now, the rift is impossible to ignore.
Like I said, this feels a little bit like a cop-out, and I think it's more likely that what she's doing here is trying to stay out of it. This is the Taylor Swift movement. This is likely a legal strategy. I don't want to be involved in this.
And then there's the rest of Lively's Hollywood clique, which appears to be treading carefully. Fellow actors and industry insiders who once sang her praises are now steering clear of the controversy. For instance, Jenny Slate, who co-starred with Lively in It Ends With Us, has avoided making any public statements about the case. Slate, who had previously described Lively as a champion of women, has remained silent since the allegations and countersuits became public knowledge. This silence is deafening, especially considering how outspoken many celebrities have become in recent years when it comes to supporting their peers during times of crisis.
It's just this weird thing that women do. I don't know why, but we lie to each other on the internet. I see it all the time. I want to call it out. I want to be like the internet police and be like, that's not true. Stop supporting your friends when they're doing.
Another notable absence is Brandon Sklenar, who also worked on the film. While he hasn't openly criticized Lively, he seems to have aligned himself more closely with Baldoni in subtle ways. Fans noticed that Sklenar sported a pin at an event that looked eerily similar to one Baldoni wore during the film's promotional tour. Some are interpreting this as a quiet show of solidarity with Baldoni, further adding to the speculation that the cast and crew may not be entirely on Lively's side. It's a far cry from the united front one might expect from a team that worked closely together on a major project.
First and foremost, I should tell you that I have a major scoop regarding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, their newest legal plan or something that they were attempting.
The growing rift within the It Ends With Us cast is also evident in how promotional responsibilities have shifted. Sources close to the production claim that in the early days, Lively was viewed as the film's unofficial spokesperson, often front and center at press events. However, as tensions escalated behind the scenes, Baldoni reportedly stepped in to fill that role, presenting himself as the face of the project. His calm demeanor throughout the promotional campaign only added to the perception that he was the more grounded party in the conflict. Meanwhile, Lively's absence from key interviews and appearances raised eyebrows, leading some to speculate that she was being deliberately sidelined by the studio in light of the controversy. Whether this was a calculated move or a personal choice remains unclear, but the optics certainly haven't worked in her favor.
Liz Plank was out, instantly said she quit, a show of support and solidarity with Blake after everything dropped, and people began looking into it.
Adding fuel to the fire, leaked emails between members of the production team reveal a chaotic environment during the film's final stages. In one particularly damning exchange, a crew member allegedly described the atmosphere on set as toxic and divisive, with Lively and Baldoni barely on speaking terms. The emails also hinted at behind-the-scenes lobbying from Lively's team to secure a bigger role for her in shaping the final edit of the film. This revelation has only deepened suspicions that the actress may have clashed with Baldoni over creative control, a theory that aligns with Rogan's earlier comments about her attempting to take over the franchise. While the emails haven't been officially verified, their contents have already made waves, further complicating the narrative around this legal showdown.
And so Liz Plank was a perfect person for them to go after because first and foremost, if you don't know anything about her, I had never heard her name before this scandal. She's kind of branded herself as like the ultimate feminist. You know, she is also Canadian and everything that she does, like I think she majored in women's studies at McGill University, and she's very carefully done work as a big supporter of gender equality.
Even outside of Hollywood, the ripple effects of this case are being felt. Lively and Reynolds' decision to skip the 2025 Met Gala raised questions about whether they're avoiding the public eye due to the ongoing controversy. While sources close to the couple have claimed they planned to miss the event months ago, the timing of their absence feels too convenient to ignore. The Met Gala is one of the biggest nights in fashion and celebrity culture, and Lively, in particular, has been a staple at the event, often hailed as its unofficial queen. Her decision to sit this one out speaks volumes about the toll this legal battle is taking on her public image. Meanwhile, Baldoni seems to be gaining support from unexpected corners. Some of Lively's former collaborators and acquaintances have reportedly expressed sympathy for the actor-director, describing him as a kind and professional figure who doesn't deserve the backlash he's facing. Rogan's podcast comments about Baldoni being a nice guy echo what others in the industry have said about him. Whether this growing support will translate into tangible benefits for Baldoni remains to be seen, but it's clear that the narrative isn't entirely one-sided.
I heard on very good authority that the same was done to Liz Plank, okay? So they primed her, got her as an expert of bromance. Serious expert of bromances, put her on the show. She's a perfect candidate. She's a feminist. And then they tried to pull the Me Too button. She instantly took their side, jumped off of the podcast with him, made a statement.
The fallout from this legal feud has also sparked broader debates about power dynamics in Hollywood. Many are questioning the role that influence and reputation play in shaping public perception. Lively and Reynolds, with their A-list status, have long been considered untouchable, but this case is challenging that notion. Baldoni's decision to fight back so publicly and so aggressively has flipped the script, forcing people to reevaluate their assumptions about who holds the power in these kinds of disputes.
And then they basically asked her to join in as a plaintiff. And what I was told was, like Jenny Slate said, hell no. Her and her people have obviously gone through everything, have read the lawsuits, like a fuller picture rather than just Blake's emotions, and they do not want to go anywhere near this with a 10-foot.
As the legal battle continues to unfold, one thing is certain. The lines between allies and adversaries are becoming increasingly blurred. Lively's once solid support system appears to be cracking under the pressure, while Baldoni is finding unexpected advocates in his corner. The stakes couldn't be higher for either party, and the outcome of this case could have far-reaching implications for everyone involved. Will Lively manage to rebuild her reputation and regain the trust of her friends and colleagues? Or will Baldoni's evidence prove too compelling to ignore, leaving Lively's career in jeopardy? Only time will tell, but for now, the drama shows no signs of slowing down. And let's not forget, the trial isn't set to begin until 2026. That leaves plenty of time for more twists, turns, and revelations that could change the course of this already explosive saga. So, what do you think? Are we witnessing the fall of a Hollywood icon, or will Blake Lively find a way to turn the tide in her favor? And how do you feel about Ryan Reynolds seemingly stepping back? Do you think it's a strategic move, or is he just trying to avoid getting burned? Whatever your thoughts, one thing's for sure. This story is far from over, and the next chapter could be the most shocking yet. Let us know your thoughts, and stay tuned for the next chapter in what is shaping up to be one of the most dramatic celebrity sagas of our time.